Hello everyone. So in this video we are going to cover the IR section of Vision IAS Monthly Magazine of May 2025. Now this Vision IAS Monthly Current Affairs magazine is freely available on their website. I have tried to simplify it for the sake of understanding. This is not the official channel of Vision IAS. Okay, now let's start. First is related to India UK FTA. Understand what is the meaning of this term FTA? Does that mean the trade will be free? No, it simply means the trade restrictions are being removed. The tariff basically means taxation. Tariff is being reduced to almost zero. That is the meaning of free trade agreement. So India and UK have signed this FTA. Now, what are the important provisions of this FTA? First thing first, there are 27 chapters and it also include double contribution convention. Now, what is this double contribution convention? Let me give you a brief understanding. Let's say this is UK and this is India. And from India, let's say there is a company named as a TCS. So TCS is having one subsidiary in UK, TCS UK. Okay. Now employees from India, they are working in UK, in TCS UK. Since they are working, they need to contribute into Social Security Fund. Social Security Fund. Since this company is in India, it need to contribute into the Indian Social Security Fund also. That is, for example, EPF, that is Employee Provident Fund. Now this put pressure on TCS. They need to contribute in India. They need to contribute in UK also. Since the employee who are working in UK, they are for temporary purpose. So once that work is over, they will come back to India. But the financial burden has increased on TCS. So now under this new FTA, there is an exemption to this. That is, for next 3 years, they need not to contribute. The exemption is for 3 years. That simply means if they are working in UK for up to 3 years, they need not to contribute in UK. This is basically referred as a double contribution convention. Double contribution. What was double contribution? Contribution in India, contribution in UK. So now they will not have to contribute in UK if the time period is less than 3 years. If the workers are working for more than 3 years, then of course they will have to contribute. So that is the meaning of double contribution convention. So it simply prevent dual social security payment for temporary employees up to 3 years. Dual, why dual? One in India, one in UK. It does not impact access to social security benefit or UK's immigration health surcharge. In a very simple sense, even previously, what was the provision? That if you will not contribute to this one, you will have to pay a kind of penalty. Now there won't be any such thing. So that is the meaning of this double contribution convention. In a very simple statement, the question can be: recently double contribution convention was in news in the context of India and which country? So it was part of India UK FTA. Next is related to China Pakistan economic corridor. Now first thing first, have a look at the geographical location. See, this is Jammu and Kashmir of India. Now, the problem is this China Pakistan economic corridor passes through this Pakistan occupied Kashmir. That means the part of Kashmir which is illegally occupied by the Pakistan. That's why India have objections regarding it. This CPAC, that is China Pakistan economic corridor, is a part of BRI. What is BRI? It is Belt and Road Initiative. In a very simple sense, this is infrastructure project of China. So with this project, China is basically connecting the Kashgar region of Xinjiang province of China to the Gwadar port of Pakistan. To counter this, India is working with Iran and we are working on Chahbar port. Chahbar port in Iran. Okay. Now this is the background. Why it was in news recently? Because now China is expanding this CPAC to Afghanistan. Understand it in a very simple sense. After the withdrawal of security forces by USA from Afghanistan, there is a vacuum. And China is trying to fill that vacuum by occupying the space which has been freed by USA. So that's why China is increasing its presence in Afghanistan, and that is why this CPAC, that is China Pakistan Economic Corridor, is being expanded to Afghanistan. Now we are having two major issue. One thing is that we are having problems with this entire CPAC because it passes through our own territory, which is being illegally occupied by Pakistan. That's first thing. Second thing, increasing presence of China in Afghanistan is not good for India. So that is second problem. Why it is not good for India? Because we are trying to improve our connectivity through various projects, and this will hamper our own progress. Now understand, China have a policy of a string of pearls. In a very simple sense, what does that mean? It simply means China is trying to connect with the countries around India to encircle India. So China is working on different infrastructure projects. What is India's counter to this? India's counter is basically referred as necklace of diamond. So we are also working with the different countries to counter this thing. Apart from that, India is also working on improving connectivity. For example, Shahbar port with Iran, then there is International North South Transit Corridor, then there is IMEC, that is India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor. Apart from that, there is Eastern Economic Corridor, that is from Chennai to Vladivostok in Russia. So we are trying to improve our connectivity. That is about CPAC. Third is India-Turkey relations. In a very simple sense, recently in the India-Pakistan conflict, India found out that Turkey is providing support to Pakistan. Not only diplomatic support, but in terms of defense also. For example, Stronger drones were supplied to Pakistan by Turkey. So that's why there is a problem. In a response to that, India also took some action against various companies who are associated with Turkey. For example, the authorities, Indian authorities, they have cancelled the security clearance of a Turkish firm, Telebi Aviation. This provided ground support to various airports. So basically, its security clearance was revoked. Now, apart from that, there was one more problem. Problem was that Turkey simply criticized the Operation Sindoor. Operation Sindoor was our response to Pahalgam attack, which was sponsored by the Pakistan-based terrorist. Okay. Now, in this context, understand two, three things which are not mentioned in the article. First thing first, as far as India-Turkey trade is concerned, we have trade surplus. Trade surplus basically means we export more than what we import. So that's why various experts have pointed it out that we should not impose trade restrictions on Turkey. There is no point in that. In fact, we should put diplomatic pressure on Turkey. One such example is Indian Prime Minister's recent visit to Cyprus. Now understand, to attend a G7 summit. G7 is being hosted by Canada this year. So apart from G7 summit, Prime Minister also decided to visit two countries. One is Cyprus and one is Croatia. Now, why Cyprus is so significant? First thing first, have a look at the geographical location of Cyprus. So this is Turkey and this is Cyprus. Now, the Cyprus is being divided into two parts. In a very simple sense, let's say this is Cyprus, this is North Cyprus, this is South Cyprus. So actually, Turkey has captured this North Cyprus, and Turkey says that it is part of Turkey. On the other hand, what is India's stance? India's stance is that this entire area is one country, that is one Cyprus. So that's why we said that we want a diplomatic and peaceful resolution of this problem. Why we are supporting Cyprus immediately? One reason is to counter Turkey. Second is that yes, we want to put diplomatic pressure on Turkey. Apart from that, Cyprus is going to be the president of EU Council in 2026. So we are trying to support those who are against Turkey, so that we can put diplomatic pressure on it. Now understand, a very simple straightforward question can be asked: is Cyprus a member of European Union? Is Turkey a member of European Union? Is Croatia a member of European Union? So please try to find out and write down in the comment section how many of these three are part of European Union. Next is related to India's concern over IMF lending to Pakistan. Understand what is IMF? International Monetary Fund. So in 1944, there was one conference which is basically referred as Bretton Woods Conference. Why Bretton Woods? Because the conference was organized in a place named as Bretton Woods. It is in USA. As a result of this, two institutions came into picture. One is IMF, one is IBRD, that is International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, which is a part of World Bank. And that is why these two institutions are referred as Bretton Woods Institution. Okay. Now, IMF provide assistance to the countries in case of balance of payment crisis. What is this balance of payment crisis? In a very simple sense, balance of payment crisis simply means the country does not have adequate forex to import. Adequate forex simply means they don't have foreign currency. So, in order to continue to import, they need foreign currency. In this case, IMF provide assistance to the countries. Okay. Now, two important package or two important terms are there. One is extended fund facility. So in a very simple sense, it is support given to countries facing BOP crisis. What is BOP? That is balance of payment crisis. That means these countries do not have forex. What is forex? It is foreign exchange. Okay, what is a second grant? Second is resilience and sustainability facility. In a very simple sense, this is financial support given to the countries for sustainable development and climate change. The name itself is self-explanatory. So it is related to fight against climate change and sustainable development. Okay. Now, recently, India objected to these financial allocation to Pakistan. India's argument is that what's the point of giving money to Pakistan when Pakistan misuse this money to sponsor terrorism? So that's why we objected to it, and we abstained from the voting. We said that we are not going to support this because ultimately Pakistan receive financial resources from IMF. These resources are being misused to sponsor terrorism in India. So that is the entire issue. Next is related to United Nations peacekeeping forces. First thing first, the peacekeeping forces are known as blue helmets because they wear blue helmet. That's first thing. Second thing, recently the conference was organized in Berlin in Germany, and this marks the 10-year of New York summit, which was organized in 2015. Apart from that, India also promised that we are going to provide one quick reaction force, one women-led police unit, one SWAT unit, and training and partnership. These are generic points, you need not to mug it up. In fact, India was the first country to provide all women contingent to the UN peacekeeping forces. Next is related to new development bank. This is also known as BRICS Bank. Why BRICS Bank? Because it was set up by the BRICS countries, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Why it was in news recently? Because Algeria became the ninth member of New Development Bank. Where is the headquarters? It is in Shanghai. Now, understand the BRICS Bank was set up on the principle of equality, that all the founding members will be equal. So that's first thing. Second thing, it was set up through Fortaleza Declaration of 2014. So in 2014, Brazil was the host of BRICS Summit, and subsequently Fortaleza Declaration was signed to set up a BRICS Bank. Subsequently, in 2015, BRICS Bank was set up. Now, the current members, apart from BRICS countries, the original BRICS countries, the current members are Bangladesh, UAE, Egypt, and Algeria. Now, as far as BRICS is concerned, so in 2024, Russia was the host, and it was hosted in Kazan in Russia. For 2025, Brazil is the host of BRICS Summit. Brazil was also the host of G20 Summit of 2024 and G20 Summit of 2025. This will be hosted by South Africa. Next is IAEA, that is International Atomic Energy Agency. Understand, it is basically referred as UN Nuclear Watchdog. In a very simple sense, it is responsible for monitoring of the nuclear plant. Why to monitor? So that countries do not make nuclear weapons. Why it was in news recently? Recently, it highlighted that it seems that Iran is involved in uranium enrichment. Uranium enrichment is necessary for making nuclear weapons. So basically, they highlighted that there may be a possibility that Iran is making nuclear weapon. Subsequently, recently, Israel attacked the nuclear facilities of Iran as a part of Operation Rising Lion. Okay, so these are important things. First thing first, where is the headquarter of IAEA? That is in Vienna, in Austria. So they have highlighted that there are certain gaps and Iran is not cooperating properly. And it seems that Iran is involved in nuclear uranium enrichment. Why to enrich uranium? For making nuclear weapon. And that's why Israel attacked the uranium enrichment site of Iran. This particular location is important. That is Natanz. So this is a uranium enrichment facility. Enrichment facility. Huh. Now, to destroy these uranium enrichment facility, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion to attack these facilities. In response to that, Iran also did some strike on Israel, and that's why the defense system of Israel was in news, which is basically referred as Iron Dome. Apart from that, one agreement was also in news, that is JCPOA. JCPOA basically refers to Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. In a very simple sense, this was an agreement between Iran and P5 plus 1 countries. What was the intention behind agreement? The intention was that Iran will not make nuclear weapon and the sanctions or restrictions on Iran will be removed or reduced, to be specific. So that was JCPOA. Next is related to United Nations Security Council 1267 Sanctions Committee. In a very simple sense, this sanctions committee imposed sanctions on terror groups. Okay, why it was in news recently? Because India briefed this committee about the threat from TRF, the Resistance Front. So basically, it is front associated with LET, that is Lashkar-e-Toiba, and it operates in Jammu and Kashmir. So what they are trying to do, they try to create hostility among people in the Jammu and Kashmir. They try to brainwash people. They promote radicalization in Jammu and Kashmir so that the people start sharing information with these terror groups and people start supporting anti-India activity. That's why India said that that's a direct support to terrorism, and that is why restrictions must be imposed on these groups and those who support them. Last is related to Asian Productivity Organization. As the name suggests, the objective is on increasing productivity. So first thing first, why it was in news? Because India has been elected as the chair of this APO for 2025-26. Where is the headquarter? Headquarter is in Tokyo in Japan. So these were the important current affairs in the IR section of Vision IAS Monthly Magazine of May 2025. In the next section, we are going to cover economy. Thank you.